20 lessons punched me in the face, both mentally as well as financially. This video is either going to save your future or cost your contracting business big time. First one is you don't know your client well enough. In my 20s, started my contracting business. I thought my service was doing framing. At the time, I was doing subcontract framing, when in reality, I was solving a problem for my client and I did not know what the pain point or what the problem was for that client. So that's the first big truth you need to get right is you don't know your client well enough. Second point, personal development is useless unless you put it into action. I love reading, I love learning, I love watching videos and learning all this cool stuff, but unless you're actually taking actionable points, when something pops in your mind like that's a good idea, how can I use that? How can I utilize it? How can I put it into action in my business? That is the big disconnect, and that's what's going to get you the results. Third point, your goals need a reset. There's been a number of points throughout my life where I thought I was going for one thing. I want to make more money. I want to get rich. I want to grow my business. And the goals need a reset because sometimes you're so stuck on one path of like, this is how I get to my goal, that you're not willing to reset, recalibrate, and refocus on, is this actually the path that's going to get me there the quickest and actually make it worth my while? Again, when I started my first company as a subcontractor doing framing, my thought was, I'm just going to get more crews. I'm going to hire more people. We're going to frame more houses, not realizing that that model was not in line with where I wanted to go in my life and would not get me the financial freedom that I wanted. Hence why I shifted into doing building, investing, and remodeling, things like that. Later on in life, when I realized that, hey, this business is not conducive with my plans, I wanted to move. I wanted to try something else, get into the online space. I had to shift focus. I had to shift paths. So there will be these times in your life when you need to maybe take a step back and realize that maybe you're hitting a brick wall because you're on the wrong path. All right, number 4, your goals will take 10 times more energy, 10 times more effort, and probably 10 times more problems and headaches than you can even imagine. And it's going to take you at least twice as long to get there, especially when you're younger in your 20s. The sky's the limit, right? You're going to be a millionaire in 2 years, 3 years, whatever it may be. And you figure, oh, it's you just follow the path, you grow and you get bigger, and it's going to happen inevitably. Yes, you can get 10x growth, and that can happen rapidly, but it typically is going to take a lot more effort, and there's going to be a lot of blind spots, especially when you're starting out in your 20s or even your 30s, where you just don't know what you don't know, and you haven't experienced those pains. There's these like lurking icebergs, if you will, that don't look like big problems, but become huge problems on your trajectory to grow and scale. So just knowing that and being able to push and push, and if it takes 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, is this goal worth it? And can you stay on that path long enough for it to become fruitful? All right, moving on. Number 5, there is no silver bullet. There's no one thing that's going to get you the big success or get you to that huge pie in the sky that you're looking for, whatever that may be. There is no silver bullet. It's a lot of consistency, a lot of effort, being being disciplined with your efforts, your goals. A lot of doing it. It's a lot of doing little things right and getting consistently 1% better every day. Yes, there's these people or these programs or these things in your life that's gonna, take you from here to there, but it's not one thing that's just gonna happen overnight, right? So realizing there's no silver bullet, it's a lot of things, and it's accumulation of experience and accumulation of the efforts that you put in today paying off in the future. All right. Number 6, we got number 6 coming up here. Accomplishments are only pit stops. So sometimes we're pushing so hard. If I can only reach this amount of money, or if I can only get this goal, or if I can only be this type of person or finish this program, whatever it may be, those are just pit stops along the road, right? You're going to go for more laps, or whatever kind of accomplishments you get to in life, you stop, you enjoy it, you feel it, you celebrate it, but then realize usually within a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, it's like you're going to set yourself on sites that are higher and you're always going to be wanting to progress. And especially as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, there's these natural sort of plateaus that we can get to. And once those are accomplished, we set their sights on the next thing. And the trick is to not get tied up on something that isn't conducive with where we want to get to long term, and basing our whole life and everything we do in our time around just reaching that goal, because realizing that that's not an endpoint, that's just another step on your journey to wherever you may be going in life. All right, number 7, general advice is not valuable. General, and I guess be more specific about this, is for me, when I hired coaches early on in my career, I hired advice, I read a lot of books and all this stuff, and it gives you a base of knowledge. It's helpful, but it's not really that valuable because you can get it from anywhere and it's not specific enough to get you real results. If you're looking for advice or for specific types, if you want knowledge to get to your goals, you want to go to someone who has specifically what you want. So for myself, when I hired someone who specifically helped contractors, it was a huge move forward. When I specifically look for books, if I need to help on marketing or sales, or if I want improvement in systems or some certain part of my business, I want to talk to someone who specializes in that. I want to go through programs or read books that are specialized in that knowledge. So general, like this seems interesting, is probably not going to help you when you're looking to like improve and grow yourself. What do I need right now? What's the most priority? And that's where you want to become an expert in, or read and get someone to help you with that specific thing. Making sense? Following with me? Got a lot here. I'd love to hear comments of one that really stood out for you. Let me know the biggest one that stood out for you. Drop in the comment and I will give you a big thumbs up for that. So who is more important than how? Especially starting out, is like, how do I get more clients? How do I make more money? How do I manage a project? How do I grow my business? How do I sell the XYZ service, right? Your better question is who. As a business owner, once you start to grow, it's no longer how do you do it, it's who can teach me, who can do this for me, who can I delegate this to, who can I hire to take care of this service, or move this thing forward for me. So who is a lot more important than how. You don't need to know how to do everything. It's who can help me with this, who can I hire to delegate or give this to that can take the ball running. And your skills are more around attracting that right person and then communicating and leading them, more so than just how do you do it, right? So very important point there. Revenue is stupid. Profit is smart. What do I mean by this? When I started out, I was all about revenue. I want to grow from 300,000 to a $600,000 business. I want to reach that $1 million threshold, annually. That's a big goal for a lot of guys starting out. That means nothing. It's all about profit. It's how much money do you keep at the end of the day. Growing a company just for growth of revenue and sales is relatively easy. Get a big project, you can put out a bunch of marketing, you can undercut your competition, and you can have a high revenue business fairly easily. Having a highly profitable business is something completely different. And the difference between those two is a high revenue company without profit is really not worth a whole lot, typically speaking. Whereas even if you have a lower revenue, but you're highly profitable and efficient, that's a much more valuable business. So revenue is stupid. You don't want to be just chasing revenue. You want to be optimizing for profits, because if we have profits, now you can scale, you can add more overhead, you can add more people, you can delegate stuff to more people, you can take on more and scale business faster, much faster, when you have good profit, not just good revenue. So big point there. Save 30-40% of your income. I wish I would have done this a lot earlier. I pretty much spent everything I had, put it all into the business. I'm investing in the business, investing in programs, coaching, all this kind of stuff, which was great. It helped me. But at the end of the day, I didn't have any long-term investments. I didn't have anything to rely on. I didn't understand how money invested and compounded over time works. So you want to be with the mindset that whatever income, I'm not talking about revenue income from your business, I'm talking about your personal salary. So if you're paying yourself, let's say 100,000 per year, your goal should be able to live off 60 or 70,000 per year. I know after taxes is different, but let's say you make $100,000 after tax. you should be able to live off 60 to 70,000, and the rest of it should be able to be saved and invested in long-term investments. That's my point number 11 here is invest early and long term. So the earlier you invest and the longer you have for the terms, the more wealthy you will be. Because even if the business doesn't work out, chances are, if you're starting a business, or even if you've been in business 5 or 10 years, the chances of you still being in business in 10 years are slim. It's a fact. It's a statistic. 10% of businesses last over 10 years, I believe, something like that. So chances are there's a good chance that your business will not be active in 10 years for whatever reason. That's why you don't want to just put everything into your business and all your money into your business. You need something outside your business, some sort of investments. Could be stocks, could be ETFs, could be real estate, whatever it may be, but something that's separated from your business and secure so that push comes to shove, something happens to you, happens to your business, happens to your family, whatever it may be, you've got that, that long-term investment that you're taking care of in the long run. So be investing long term. Number 12 is suss out partners. So if you've probably talked to these people, I'm one of those people included. Yeah, I had this business or I was doing this and then I got a partner and, things went to shit pretty much. It's not always the case. Some partnerships work out really good. But if you're going to get into a partnership, especially when you're early on and you're not overly experienced with business or you haven't been in a partnership before in business, just realize you're going in blind to something that is extremely important to really know the other person. So if you haven't known the other person for a long time, like multiple years, you really need to suss them out and make sure that they are actually the right person and the right person that they say they are, and they're going to be along with you for the ride. You both have your roles, responsibilities. You have a good agreement in place of what happens if someone wants to exit the company, if someone's not pulling their weight, how income is split. There's a lot of stuff that goes into a really strong partnership, and making sure that you really know this person and probably putting the brakes on jumping into a business or a partnership with someone who you don't know very long term. Much better to start on more of it'd still be like partnership, but you're not specifically partners in the business, but where maybe you own the business, but you hire them as whatever, they're responsible for this, so that there's a way that you both have your own business, but you're collaborating more than having like a partnership business, if that makes sense. Much better to do that to get started if you're a little bit unsure about the person or if there's any kind of concerns whatsoever. So moving on, number 13. You're not as smart as you think. I'm not as smart as I think a lot of the time, especially when you're younger. It's like, yeah, you read some books, you get pumped up, you go to a few business meetings, you're meeting people, networking. It's like bada bing, bada boo. Your business is growing, especially when your business is growing and you're young. You're full of you know contracts and things are going, and you got more money in your bank account than you've ever seen in your life, and you're feeling really smart. It's time to realize that you may be in over your head and you're probably not as smart as you think. So you really need to make sure that you're keeping a level head, not getting inflated, and realizing that there are a lot of things in business that until you've experienced them, you just don't know what's happening. And you are at a different level of leadership as you grow a business. That's going to take new skills, new understanding, and just a business acumen that you probably have not developed yet because you haven't been to that level. So watch out for that. Again, I'm speaking from experience here. I've been there and I went through all of these stages. I wish I had known it in my 20s. I would have made a lot less mistakes, made a lot more money, and lost a lot less money for sure. So financial management is primary. Kind of along the last point that I made, financial management is so important. As I mentioned, like revenue and profit, these levels of business as far as like the money that's flowing through your business. If you're not watching your financials closely, and even if you are watching your financials closely, but you don't have a financial understanding of what's important and profitability and margins and how fast things can go sideways of allocating revenue or well, yeah, allocating revenue to specific bank accounts, saving for taxes, having contingencies, having profit and your owner's draw, paying yourself properly. There's a lot that goes into financial management that on paper it seems pretty easy. It's like, oh, profit and loss. Like, I made money this month. This month I lost a little money, but I made more next month. And, I can see my expenses and all this kind of stuff. That's not enough because you're still like you're still looking backwards of what happened yesterday. You're not looking forwards, like cash flow projections, work in progress, where the business is going over the last 12 months. What's my overhead? Is it going up? Is it going down? Where can I, cut money? Where can I add something? What's a good investment as far as like investing in the business? So there's a lot that goes into it, and it's really important. And again, it'll save your ass like so many times by having good financial acumen when you are in business. All right. Number 15 here. So this one is one that took me a long time to learn actually, and that is commit to one business. Do one business at a time. And the reason for this is you're just when you're focused on one business, your results are going to be much quicker. You're not going to be distracted, and you are not going to be chasing one thing and then the next, like the shiny object syndrome. So for myself, I had my contracting business. First, when I started, I was a subcontract framer. Then I started doing remodels, which was fine. It was kind of in the same business. Then I started doing some multi-level marketing because it seemed like a good idea and I could make some money on the side. Then I started doing some real estate investing. And then I started doing some online stuff, right? And it's like you've probably seen these people, maybe you've done this yourself, where it's like, oh, I can do some Bitcoin investing, or I can do some trading, or I can, sell this product, or like this thing is also with construction. So I can kind of do both at the same time. And yes, you can, but realize you're going to be less effective and you're probably going to end up not being successful in one and it's going to hurt the other. And this happened to me with when I was doing real estate investing and my construction business is I was good at construction, not good at real estate investing because it was new to me. And one business ended up affecting the other business, and it made just a big mess. I was running around doing way too many things because I'm trying to grow my construction business. I'm trying to find deals and properties and to go through all this stuff with real estate investing. So focus on one business, get that to a level that's where you want it. Have most of it delegated, or at least you have a somewhat limited role, but it's a profitable business. Then look to see how you can maybe add more services or start a side business or something like that. But until that happens, one business at a time. Just trust me on that. It works really, really well to build your business. You'll be ahead of a lot of other people because they get distracted with that a lot. So listen to your intuition. This is something for me where I need to always remember, like, if sometimes when you're in a conversation, it could be someone selling something to you, or you're talking with a client, or even with like deciding which direction you want to take your business. You kind of have a little bit of a feeling, but you can't like put your finger on it, but something's there. And then later, when it happens, you're like, oh, I knew that, or like, yeah, I should have recognized that feeling. So just pay attention to that if something feels off, or you have like some sort of like red flag sort of popping up with a client, with a partner, with an employee, you don't need to act on it right away, but start to recognize those times when it's like, you know what, I was right about that, and I should have paid more attention, and I should have taken that action. So that next time when that feeling comes up or you have that thing, just use it as additional advice or additional knowledge in order to make the right decisions. And you can often do this, especially when you start to know. It's a good thing to like start to know yourself too, because those gut feelings, you'll start to pick up on them on yourself, and you'll also start to realize yourself when maybe you're moving forward with something, or you have an inclination to like agree with someone or maybe disagree with someone, and you realize that this is just kind of part of my personality, or just like you can tell that they're like a really good talker or salesperson or whatever, and then you're able to sort of have a step back and see that top down 20,000 foot view, and realize like, yeah, something's off here, or whatever. So very good. Listen to your gut and take action on it. Working hard is a scam. So what is this, 2017? 17 years. So working hard is a scam. It's something that everyone's been told, and it really, as you know, there's people that make billions and of dollars in their business, and there's people that make, you know, $40,000 a year. They're both working hard. So working hard is not the answer to reach your goals. Just realize working hard is required to be successful. I believe that, but it's not but it depends on what your success is. And there's a period of working hard. It's not that you need to bust your ass and hustle for like 40 years and that's just your mentality all the time. There's spurts and there's times when you need to be working very hard, especially during startup, or if you've got to push things in your company to because you're on like a downward trend or something like that. But generally speaking, working too hard and pushing yourself too hard is hurting you and is keeping you to it's taking you longer to reach your goals. And I've done this as well very many times where I was stuck in my business, I'm fielding calls, I'm trying to grow my business, I'm running around, waking up at 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, trying to get work done and working 16, 20-hour days, whatever it may be, just to try to be successful and push my business. But your mentality is screwed, your decision making is diminished. These very high level abilities that a successful business owner needs to have tend to deteriorate with overworking and overstressing yourself. So working hard is a scam in relation to getting to your goals, and realize that. All right, number 18, your friends either bring you down or they bring you up. This is another hard one because especially if you've had friends that you've known for 10, 20, 30 years, potentially. I mean, if you're in your 20s, you haven't known them that long, but you get my drift. I wouldn't say that you need to sever ties. I mean, if you know for sure that they're just like not good for you whatsoever, then yes. But you just need to realize that you need to start moving towards people that are more in line with where you want to go in life. People that are successful, that are knowledgeable, that are positive, that are caring, that have a good family life, that seem to be always having time or they seem to be organized. These are the people that you want to be around because it's just natural that you're going to start to associate and your life is going to start mirroring or emulating the people that you're around. If you have friends that are kind of deadbeats and they're fun to hang around with, sure, go have a beer, go get drunk, whatever you do you. But realize if you're doing that every weekend and you're spending time with them all the time, that it's gonna be a hindrance to your success and your path. And you need to recognize that in the people that you're around. Sometimes, especially if it's like family or you have mutual friends and stuff like that, you can't it's not something you can just sever as far as the relationship goes. But you can always like distance yourself or realize that in small time segments that's just, you still want to be in contact with the person, but that doesn't mean you have to spend a bunch of time and take their input on the things that, is going on in your life. So making sense. We're going through a lot here. All of this stuff though, this is so important. And to know this now, you are so far ahead. It's going to help you immensely in your business. So we got a couple more here. 19, comfort leads to hardship. So getting comfortable, sitting down, taking it easy. Yeah, it's nice. But as you know, being too comfortable is going to keep you from reaching your goals. Being too comfortable is going to keep you from getting stronger. And by, physical ability is a good, like a good representation of this because those people that are always too comfortable, they're always sitting down, they're always lazing, they don't want to go out, they don't want to meet new people, they're one of those comfort people, and that's fine for them. But if you want to be really successful, if you want to grow a business, you're going to need to get out of your comfort zone. You're going to need to develop skills that you do not have right now. You're going to need to talk to people that are maybe seem like they're kind of out of your league, or you're going to have to pick up that phone and call that client that's it's going to be an upsetting conversation, whatever it is. But the more uncomfortable things that you can force yourself to go through, and I'm not talking about that you need to, again, working hard and like stressing yourself out. I'm just talking about there's these things in your life that you know that you need to do. They're going to be uncomfortable and you're going to do them anyways because you know that you're going to get stronger from it and it's going to make you a more competent, confident person. So that's a really big point. And you've probably heard this before, like, oh, you got to get out of your comfort zone, right? But you need to realize that not getting out of your comfort zone makes your life hard. It makes your life hard because you're not getting to where you want to in time. It makes your life hard because you're not growing as a person. It makes your life harder by being too comfortable. All right, number 20, already at number 20. And I've got like a bonus one here for you. So I said 20, but we got 21 here. Of course, can give you a little extra here. So strong relationships take years. This is something you learn more and more as you grow older, is that the really the really big kind of foundational people in your life, those relationships take a very long time and they just continue to get more and more rock solid over time. So that's why networking is so great because you meet a lot of people and you may meet 100 people and maybe one of them actually turns into someone that you're going to know for multiple years. But those people that you do get to know for multiple years, those relationships are like anchors as far as like they keep you grounded, but they also give you a foundation. And when you have those types of relationships, you have this ability and you have this depth where they've got your back, you've got their back, and you're really building a strength of a network. Like network is your net worth. Some people misconstrue that to like I need to know everybody and anybody, but just knowing a lot of people on the surface isn't helping you anything. And this is why a lot of people, especially like in construction, you're going to want to talk to realtors, designers, architects, engineers, whatever, to get your referral network going. But if you just call them once or twice or you check in with them like one time a year, that's a waste of time almost because they don't know you, you don't know them. You need to start investing in relationships and having multiple touch points, calling them maybe every couple months or following up with them, doing something nice to them, giving to them, sending them something or sending them referrals and things like this. So building relationships, it takes a long time, but the impact of them is exponential as you get older and you grow these types of long lasting relationships and friendships. All right, number 21. Happiness stems from service. So getting your goals, building your business is great. I love it. I love knocking things off my to-do list. I love getting money and growing my business. It's fun. It's enjoyable. I love doing it. It brings me a sense of contentment, but the real happiness, the long-term happiness and that feeling of that you're giving back and you're helping people and you're serving, that is the real gold. That is the real win at the end of the day. When I'm doing I do donations to different organizations and charities through my business at every 3 months. That's one of the times I feel the most happy because it's like, I'm doing all this work in my business. I'm helping clients and I love it. I love to see them succeed. And that's a huge boost in and of itself. And then like through the business, I'm also helping all these like other organizations and these causes that I'm in line with. And those types of things, it really makes all that hard work and the stress sometimes and the chaos worth it when you know at the end of the day you're providing for your family, you're providing for other people around you. It could be your church, could be other organizations, helping children in need, things like this. That kind of service beyond just like the service that you're doing with your business of helping your clients and things like that, that really feed off of that, love it, and realize that that is the real thing that's going to give you long-term like contentment and long-term happiness over just reaching that, $1 million in the bank or having a business with a whole bunch of employees or lounging on a beach in Guatemala or something like that. It's that's where the real win is, the real gold is. So I hope these 21 harsh truths have helped you in your journey. Love to hear which one was the most impactful and the best for you. We'll see you on the next video.